Well, hey YouTube, petey twofinger here, and boy, am I excited about this video. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I've got 8 songs mixed and mastered, ready to go for you guys. This album, I'm going to be dropping this on YouTube as I do every year for the past couple of years. This is the 3rd year for this new tradition. So the idea is when January to February is that dark. There really isn't a lot of sunshine, and it's a very tough time for me to get through as far as my self-esteem, my emotional state. So, what not a better time to jump in and dedicate that time to recording some new original music. Now, last year there was a double album that I dropped. I had written all that material already. It was written for the duo, which is my old lady playing bass, me playing guitar with drum loops. So there was some creativity put in with the use of sound effects in the drum loops, but really those songs were written strong single line guitar with a bass, and that was reflected in the recording. There wasn't any like magic in the studio where I was like didn't know what it was going to sound like when I was done, and I was experimenting and doing tricks. It was cut and dry. So the album before that, Minor Technical Difficulties, nothing existed. I went in and I worked with drum files and assembled those and then laid down the tracks, and then often I would do studio tricks and get ideas, get inspired to try new things as I went along, and that's where the music becomes really interesting. So why am I excited? Well, I'm excited because the strength of the material is so strong. It's like the life is breathed back into these pieces of music. The sense of adventure is there. Listening to it, I said to my wife, it's almost like you're walking along, everything's fine, and then someone throws a switch and they've drugged you, and now you fell down a hole into hell, or your right is left and you're discombobulated, you're in trippy land, and give it 16 bars and everything will come back to normal. And this is employed to great effect throughout the process of these songs. So if stuff like studio trickery sounds appealing to you, you're in for a treat. I have to say it's much less distorted guitars, much more clean tones. Stuff like 12 strings, whatever kind of clean JC 120 sounds. I've been playing around with new compressor plugins, master bus compressor, doing some things differently. I've been learning. I've been running VSTs on individual tracks and doing a lot of tap tempo filtered delays on rhythm tracks, where you can take a track and double it and then eliminate sections of it, so it's not happening all the time, but taking a verse or a chorus and then running that filtered delay that's tempo synced on it. And this adds a dreamy, mystical, pad-like, psychedelic sound to these pieces of music. And so I've been really having fun in the studio, and I wanted to let you guys know how much I'm excited about this, because I've been listening to these songs every night. I've got a list of, this is a dB and a half here, this is a little bit quiet there, stuff I need to go through and make changes in the mix. So we're not 100% there, but the mixes are really strong. It's been a challenge to not overproduce and know when to trim stuff back. So I've also had a lot of failure. The Reaper was crashing, C plus runtime error, and same with the Audition. I lost some whole like 3 hours worth of work, just poof, gone. And I swear I had been backing up. I don't know what happened there. Obviously, I wasn't. Um, so, looking at it all realistically, more than likely going to be 12 songs. More than likely, I'm not going to be doing sound effect beds in between each song. The sound effect use is in the songs. It's in the intros and the outros and in with the song. So this is going to be silence, and we're going to respect the songs, and we're just going to be silence in between these tracks. But like I said, in the intros, there's sound effects. So I've done unusual stuff with panning and stereo effect. There's often stuff that's only happening in one speaker. So rather than freak out and go, I need to fix that, it is what it is. If anything needs to get fixed, it's going to get fixed by turning the volume down. You know, if there's wind, the wind is only in one speaker, that's fine. And then when the cat meows, if it doesn't sound right, because that's in the middle, well, pan it. Turn it down. It'll sound right. So, again, I have my list of things to fix, and I'm still not through that process yet. But there has been a lot of learning. I was hearing Mellotron, doop, 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 that Strawberry Fields Forever flute. I was hearing that and thinking, you know what, I could go to bed if I had that Mellotron here. So I typed in Mellotron sample pack for free, and of course there's a guy giving one away. You gotta love the internet. I just had to give him my email address, and I walk away with these folders full of, it's like C3, C4, C5. So you pick one of those, and then you can kind of edit it. You know, you could remove the middle and take the beginning and the end and get the length of your note just right, and have it taper, like fade in and then fade out. I found with the flute to just cutting it off hard to give that effect of the flautist would be stopping the note with his tongue to make that hard stop sound more realistic. The choir is amazing. I doubled up on that. I had a low and a high choir, and I would pan those like 67.2%. I'm real weird about the numbers. They've got to be a certain numbers are good, other numbers are bad. And that's all. I don't know where I get that. It's weird, and it's not the way I was raised, but I'm superstitious about those numbers. So hard pan them, basically. Well, soft pan them, and then print that as its own track and paste on a warm 60s flanger. And I found with the I'm trying to say Univibe, the Mellotron choir sample, instead of fading it out and fading it in for the next note, if you cram them together and crossfade them, it sounds like the choir is, it sounds more realistic. So that's how I pasted that's how I dealt with the Mellotron, and I have that in this piece of music. Almost Stole Malone. So the first piece of music that I had experimented with for this song cycle, I had heard in my head something called the Rhythm Ace, which is a wooden Wurlitzer organ drum machine. Like if you bought an organ and it didn't have a fancy new drum machine like your neighbor got, you could just get the drum machine separate and put that on top and plug it in. And it has all the same wonderful organ drum sounds. If you're familiar with those, they're kind of like doom, 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 ch, doom, 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 ch. They're real rudimentary. The Who used it on Eminence Front intro, or Bob O'Reilly, one of those. Anyway, yeah. I'm like, I gotta use that drum machine on this song, and of course it's in storage, so I just ended up getting a VST plugin. And what I've been doing is using a drum machine and then using a real kit, and I'll put, just for bridges or intros or outros, I will use that drum machine. And really, it almost sounds like a trap kit. And then I'll throw a weird delay on it and have the like Valhalla freak delay, filtered delays, and have those high things, high whatever electronic cymbal sounds will start cycling around through the delay and do some different things. So I've really been pushing each element. Everything gets compressed. The guitar tracks are all manually edited. It's not like I'm just throwing everything together, and that's why the stuff sounds the way it does. If you've ever listened to one of the albums that I release or the tracks that I take time recording, a good amount of time goes into putting them together and care. Now, that's not necessarily to say that I couldn't learn anything. I'm a hack at this. And I know I'm making mistakes all over the place. Production and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, there's been changes in the rig. So I'm going to do a quick video tour of the living room area where I record this stuff. Doesn't look like there's going to be 12 songs, no sound effect beds, no video. What I upload will be title cards, so it'll say the name of the song, and then maybe after 15 seconds fade over to the name of the album, and back to the name of the song, and so you'll be able to enjoy the music without the benefit of HD video to accompany it. I'm simply not interested in attempting to try to continue finding footage that I can edit together to make it look like it accompanies this music. It's a monumental task to do that, and there simply isn't enough reward for me to do it. It's not something that I don't enjoy the process, and the final product I don't enjoy, because I would have to shoot, like, I would have to think about these songs and think, what would I really want? And if I was able to do that, if I had that budget to do that, that would be a different story. But it's because I have to harvest source material elsewhere is the reason why I think it would be better served with title cards. So that's the way it's going with that. We're wrapping this up. You know, I started at 020202, and I've got 8 songs done, so you figure 4 more. So the lights at the end of the tunnel. I'm really excited about these songs. The first one, when I wrote it, I wanted to use that rhythm ace, so the file name I wrote organ, because I wanted to use the drum machine from that organ drum machine, that rhythm ace. And then as I was typing, I wrote orgone and then Malone. So the first song is Orgone Malone, and I ran with that Malone theme. It has nothing to do with that furry guy who is always smirking because he just dabbed and ate some Wagyu beef with the little funny tattoos and all the ironic places of his body and the puffy coat. That furry guy? No, there's nothing to do with that guy. Okay? The songs are named Malone because when I was a kid, we used that as a generic surname. That was just our sense of humor. There was a big fat guy and he was moving slowly. He was Slow Malone. So we have Orgone Malone. We have Almost Stole Malone. Because that track, I was watching something and I was going to go for it, and then I changed my mind and it did this completely different song. So that almost turned out to be a stolen song, so I named it Almost Stole Malone. Then we have Slow Malone. Slow Malone makes an appearance along with Stone Cold Malone. So am I going to go through and change these song names? Probably not. Does it make any sense? Probably not. We've got Rocking Chair, Sleep Dance, The Sneak, and March of the Keaton. That would be giant, humongous, 10,000 pound, as tall as the Eiffel Tower robotic kitten that marches from the beginning of time to the end of time, destroying everything in its path. So you can imagine it's a massive sounding piece of music, and I'm really proud of that one. That being said, good thoughts, good words, good deeds. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to share this thing with you. I know you're going to love it. Peace.